Hello guys, welcome to my deck profile. I went 6-2 at the Munich Regional with Mitsu Ryzeal. I think I took it there as a format call against mainly the Dracotail variants because the deck is very good into Dracotail. And I saw Yummy all day, so it was very painful. But I still ended up 6-2, and if I played a bit better I would have made top 8, but I choked in the last game. Opponent was very good, and we were both stressed, and stuff happens, I guess. Let's start with the non-engine, which is in this deck the least important part. Triple fuwas, triple ash blossom, triple droplet, and then 1 talents. This is 10 non-engine, and my approach here was that fuwas and ash are kind of necessary in the format as like basically the maxi mini game. And then I had 4 more, so I chose droplet as the best card going first and second. That's a high impact. Belle is also kind of good, but I don't like belle because it doesn't have enough impact for me. This could have been triple purulia as well, but I thought that droplet is generally more applicable. Like it's unless you're against like Odeon, droplet is always going to be good. And then talents is just a powerful one-off. That's a good card going first and second again. Then up next we got the Ryzeals, and I was using these so much this event. Like my friends were calling me the Ryzealer. Yext, sword, ice, node. Standard ratio, no star Ryzeal here because star has the least risk out of all of the Ryzeals. Yeah, these Ryzeals are board breakers going second because Ext is insane and Exciton is insane, and Detonator is also kind of insane. Then going first, especially game 1, I had so many situations where I go normal ice effect, they go ash, and then I'm like, great, pre-prep or habakiri. Or even if I go normal ice, they go Veiler. I'm like, okay. Because game 1, they don't know that I'm a Mitsu Ryzeal. It's not common. And especially like, here again, ice. You need to stop ice. Because if you don't, ice, sword X, overlay, now playing through 2 handtraps. So you always need to hit ice. Because otherwise I'm getting cross and then it sucks. So in this way, they really helped Mitsurugi's weakness to the 1-for-1 handtraps. Getting impulsed on ice in game 1. It was so nice because then I was like, okay, pre-prep, and the opponent was like, oh, screw you, dude. Okay, he wasn't screw you, he was, goddamn, dude. Of course it has to be Mitsu Ryzeal. Speaking of, the Mitsurugis. 2 Murakumo, a futsu, a habakiri. We got the 3 bricks, double Aramasa, and Manju. As you can see, there's a lot of 2-offs. Actually, the non-engine are the only 3-offs in this deck you've seen so far. And that is kind of intentional. I like 2-offs as a deck idea in something like Mitsu Ryzeal, where the starters and extenders are kind of redundant. Yes, Manju kind of does the same thing as Aramasa. Well, he's better. He is objectively better in most hands. But Aramasa is a Mitsu card, so it's good for prayers and for searching. And so Manju is searchable via 7th Tachyon, which makes the engine's ways more synergistic because now you can play Tachyon as a 3-off that can get you into the engine you're missing, making the whole thing way better into disruption and making it going second much more consistent to get both of the pushes, so the Mitsu push and the Ryzeal push. And I've won a lot of matches going second just off of engine. Like, there was a Malice player who full comboed I had droplet and talents, but talents was basically nothing because I look at his hand, it's double ash, and then there's Magnumut and March here, so it was literally useless. But I still managed to break through because the engines are just that good. So, I mean, Serpent especially, I drew this guy so much, but he's so good, I can't justify not running him. Kusanagi sucks. Saji was okay. I drew Saji in the feature match and it almost was enough still, because tributing Saji is still a decent play. For the engine spells, 1, 2, 3, the bricks. Cross sucks to draw. Purification is barely okay to draw. Mirror is the worst. I didn't draw Mirror once. No, I drew it once, but I had Habakiri and Murakumo. So I went Habakiri, he was Ash on Saji. I was okay, Mirror, Tribute, Habakiri, summon Murakumo. No, I did it the other way. I just started with Mirror, Tribute, Habakiri, summon Murakumo, because I wanted to play around Droll and Blockbird, and then I was able to get prayers, and if he did Droll there, I can go Murakumo, force him to discard another, and then I have prayers in Murakumo, which is a solid board. Anyways, these two, very cuttable if you're a better player, but I'm not a great player, so I figured I want the extra ceiling. Especially cross, I think, is important, because it means that if you just start with the Ryzeals and you don't want to go for the stupid Alimbertian bridge, you can make cross Detonator Beguska, which is a very solid half board. I mean, it is the full Ryzeal board, so calling it a half board is a bit disingenuous. Bonfire, which is just Ice or X'd, and I don't need to tell you how good that is. Best card in the deck, pre-prep. So many times I go second, pre-prep, the opponent is, oh shit. Against the Malice player, he thought he had it, he really did. I go thrust, he ashes thrust. No, that was what, it was a yummy actually, yeah, a yummy player. I go thrust, he ashes thrust, is like, yes, I got it. Then I go, pre-prep. And he cried. And then he got OTK'd. Speaking of prayers, another contender for the best card. It's so good, dude. It's basically E-Tally, and it tributes one, and it's an end board piece. This card just does everything. I really hope it doesn't get limited in a TCG. 2 Ritual is another choice I want to speak about. It seems obvious to play 1 Ritual in a Mitsu combo deck, but I think 2 Ritual and 4 names gives you this nice math where with the, I mean here, you can throw it in as well, with the Prosby and the Ascension, you have a very, very good chance to be able to have Ritual and then one of these or a name, and then just go Tachyon, Manju, Murakumo, and suddenly they don't have a good Ash Blossom, because nobody ashes Ascension, nobody isn't dumb ashes Tachyon, and if you get Manju, obviously you don't ash Manju, or I summon Manju, I search Murakumo, and then they're like, oh fuck, because then you can Ritual Murakumo, and this is the best start for the deck. I used to be at 3-3, but that was too much deck space, and I wanted to see my non-engine consistently. And that's it for the main deck. It's 42 cards. I wouldn't really change anything. If you're a better player, you can cut the Purification and the Cross, but that obviously makes it less consistent to go first. The extra deck, which I kind of have in 3 parts. First, I have the Ryzeal part. I know it's Ryzeal, but I say Ryzeal because I'm the Ryzealer. Dual Drive Detonator. Don't play a second one because I think it's not necessary and it takes up more extra deck space. Masquerade, which I had to borrow from a friend because it didn't arrive in time. Then the X cards. You can make twins, and it's good into the Lunalight matchup, but I never played Lunalight, luckily. These two make X Ryzeal basically like a 3-for-1 board breaker. So super important you play all of those. Nothing here is cuttable for sure. Then we got the, in quotes, Mitsu cards, SP, IP, SP. Like one of the best cards ever printed. Obviously I'm playing 1 SP, and IP is good for the end board. I'm not on Dynamondo, but you could be on Dynamondo over one of the flex spots. IP into SP helps again diversify the interaction, and having some banishes is good into decks with a lot of grave effects. And it's good for the Mitsurugi pure board, because if you go for the Mitsu to Ryzeal bridge on Dual Drive, you always have Murakumo next to it, but it is still a good hand trap. So if they go Imperm Dual Drive, you go Murakumo, they pitch something. Now they're in 3 hand cards, and then you can very comfortably make the Mitsurugi board with IP and Futsu and Purification and Prayers and stuff. Which then means it's very hard for them to beat it, because now they're going to be on 4 cards for turn. Gonna lose 1 to Murakumo. Then they have Purification, which trades for 1 for absolutely. And then they're on 2 hand cards versus IPSP, a Raigeki, and Futsu's follow-up, which is very difficult to beat. This is Baguska. I couldn't find mine, so I had to borrow it from a friend as well. It won me 1 game. Baguska. Yeah, nothing much to say. Why is this card legal? Then we've got the flex spots here, which is 6. It was nice because 6 flex spots means you can comfortably banish 6 for Prosby every time, which is super powerful, and I did several times. Dugaris, this guy does everything, it's so good. I had him once to revive Saji, which I pitched off of Droplet to then be able to summon Murakumo from hand. Tornado Dragon is just kind of neat because it's a quick effect, so you can easily force some back row. Light Dragon for Lunar Light, and as a guy with good stats and destruction protection to make it easier to go for game. Exiton, super stupid card. This makes the Ryzeal so threatening because they have to stop the bodies from sticking on field. If you ever get priority with 2 force on field, you just Exiton, and now they're screwed. Unless they have like an Omni Negate, then they're not, but nope. Nobody I was playing against really ran a lot of negates, so you go Exiton, board goes away, you go full combo, and they're screwed. And then the 2 cards I never made in the event. The Lambertian, which is in this cool gold rarity. It's kind of gimmicky. The idea is with 4 materials, which you can easily make of the Ryzeal starters, you can search Anti-Spell and Eradicate Epidemic for the board breaker matchups, which can sometimes be rough. And you can going first. If you have one of the good Ryzeal starters, you can go into pre-prep with it, which, again, it's a shit play, but theoretically it's good, because if you have only Ryzeals and you go normal Ice, Special Sword, he doesn't hand trap it. At this point you can safely think he probably doesn't have hand traps, so you can then go Sword, X, get Sword, which is important. Alan version, get pre-prep, Mitsu combo. You make Duo Drive in the Mitsu combo, search Cross and Node. Then you can special Node, send one of the things. At this point you would keep Duo Drive because it has an extra material, so you go Node, send Alan version, revive one of the Ryzeals, overlay for the 3-mat detonator with attached twins, attach one to the Duo Drive, cross, and then you have the premium end board of 1 Ryzeal starter. Then Typhon, because I didn't have anything better to put in. Dynamondo, probably better. Never made Typhon, but Typhon is my goat. He's won me so many like weird game states at some points. I can't imagine life without Typhon. That's it for the main deck and extra deck. For the side deck, which is, I think, in a good... Some of these were really good, but in part it was also the weakest thing in the deck. Starting with the good card, Thrust. Absolutely insane card. It gets you basically everything in the deck. So going second, I would always side out 3 of the Tachyon and side in 3 Thrust. So, because obviously Thrust is going to be live. So you do your stuff, you get interrupted, you thrust for Bonfire, you thrust for pre-prep, you thrust for Talents. And those can make it so much easier to win the game. I even thrusted for Prosperity at one point, and it found me Murakumo to keep going. Evenly Matched, which is originally for Draco Tail, but it also happens to be very good into Yummy decks. It's kind of trivially easy for this deck to force out Omni Negates, and then you can just go battle evenly, and then the opponent has to banish a bunch of stuff. I resolved evenly once in the event. Didn't draw into it. I always drew Thrust at the Ryzeals. But it's good. I wouldn't cut evenly, personally. I can't think of a better board breaker to play. Duster. Didn't draw it, but it's a good card. Vosu for Lunar Light, again. Didn't use it. Can be cuttable, but I'd keep it. It's sometimes useful. 2 droll. Couldn't find my second one, so I had to borrow it. Was last second edition because I noticed that there was an uptick in like combo Yummy variants again and stuff, and I wanted to have a good side card for it. I only played against pure Yummy, where it's not good though. Dimension Chief there. Didn't draw it, but actually I drew it twice, but it didn't do anything because on the feature I drew it, but it was against K9VS, who scooped without a card game 1, and I figured, well, he looks like a Dracotail player. He wasn't. And then it was against Yami, but they bricked, so it didn't help again. And then the fun cards. Called by for going first. Judgement for going first. These two always replace 2 fuwas. And then, depending on if it's a monster-based deck or not, but I mean, anti-spell was going in almost every time I went first. And it won me one game. Eradicator, didn't use it. I wish it was these two. If I wanted to do the deck more optimally, you would probably cut these two for Trap Tricks Ryzeal and side deck Purification to do the anti-hand trap technology, because if you play, you win anyways. And that is the deck profile. The full deck list will be in the description. Thank you for watching. No, never mind, can't do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll have a full video on the event later on my channel. So check that out if you're interested. I hope you have a nice day.